Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Fifth Meeple Board Game Podcast. We're a group of diverse friends who offer our takes on the latest and greatest board games to hit our table. I'm your host, Chris, the intellectual introvert, and I'm joined today by the collector.
Hey, this is David.
And the deluxeifier.
Hello, it's Pete.
Welcome to our open house. Today, we're wheeling and dealing real estate style, buying houses at auctions, then reselling them for a profit. Hopefully. Our potential buyers are starting to arrive, so let's get started with our discussion of For Sale. For Sale is a 3 to 6 player auction and hand management game where players buy properties, then try to sell them for the greatest profit. The game consists of two distinct phases, buying houses and selling houses. The buy phase uses a deck of house cards numbered from 1 through 30, and each player starts with a certain number of coins based on player count. At the start of each round, the number of house cards equal to the number of players are turned over. The first player then either bids or passes, followed by the next player, and so on. If you bid, you must bid at least one coin higher than the current highest bidder. If instead you choose to pass, you must take the lowest valued house card, and you lose half of your bid amount. If you're the last player standing, you take the last and therefore the highest card, but you lose your entire bid. Additional rounds are played until all the house cards are gone. The sell phase uses a deck of 30 check cards numbered from 0 through 15. At the start of each round, check cards equal to the number of players are revealed, and each player secretly chooses one of the house cards that they had in their hand from the first round. These cards are revealed simultaneously, with the highest house card earning the largest check card, and so on. Additional rounds are played until the players have sold all of their houses. Players earn points based on the value of the check cards they won, plus any money they had left over from the buy phase. The richest player wins the game and celebrates by evicting all of the other players from their homes. For Sale was designed by Stefan Dora and was first published in 1997 by Eagle Griffin Games. All right, guys, small, quick game. We're buying, we're selling. What is it about For Sale that makes you want to place a higher bid?
All right, well, I'll start this one off with the bidding here. I'm going to bid for... No, it's a very interactive game. One thing that I do like about it, it's fairly simple to learn. We played just recently on BGA, just to freshen up. I played this a while ago, and this was a good refresher. I mean, I picked it up really quick. You are playing the other players, what those bids are going to be, how they come out, because when you go to sell cards, you got to make that decision. Sometimes low cards are a good sound bid when you're going to sell the property. So I like it. It's a pretty quick game, pretty fun.
Yeah, there's a lot packed in to the decisions. Again, you're making simple decisions, but they're not so simple, right? The concept is very simple, but okay, am I gonna up that bid? And player count dependent too. How many other people are going to get to bid before it comes back to me? And it's a great example of the game where the rules are simple, the play is fast, but there's a lot packed in to the seemingly simple decisions along the way. I'm not sure I've totally figured it out yet, but I think that's kind of the point. I've had a lot of fun with it, though.
Yeah, for the game being so simple, there's a lot of good decision-making spaces, especially because on the second half of the game, when those cards get turned up, or even the first half of the game, when, just, hey, we're going to throw these numbers down randomly, there's always so many choices. Even though it doesn't seem like a lot of choices, there's a lot going on in just those little interactions, especially with player bid. This is one of the games where I played at a low player count and a high player count, and I like it at both player counts. I mean, it's a pretty fast, simple game, but yet there's some strategic choices that have to be made here that are pretty fascinating.
Yeah, and I've played it at, I think, anywhere from 3 to 5, and I like it at all player counts too. It's a different game at 5 players than it is at 3 players. Just the types of decisions and the complexity of what you got to try to figure out. It's very different.
Yeah, it almost feels like a little bit like Texas Hold'em if you guys have played that, because you're always wondering what the flop is going to be. It kind of has that flop mechanic, and then where am I in turn order and how much do I want to, push. But I do think at a lower player count, it's maybe a little bit more strategic just because you're really playing the players at that point, even though it plays well at 5, or even higher than that.
Yeah, for one of the examples, I got a 1 card or whatever, which is pretty much the smallest thing. I think it's a box, and it's not high rise. But when the flop came out and when we're going to sell, the numbers were something like 12, 9, and 8 or whatever. And I can trade that 1 in for 8 points. That really makes a big difference. So even though you have low cards, knowing when to play them is really the key to this, and trying to guess what the other players are willing to bet or how much it is, because there might be like a 12 and an 11 and then a 2. So you're trying to figure out, well, I want to be somewhere in the middle, and then you make those bids and you're kind of in for a penny at that point, you're going to lose half of something. So, Chris, what are you thinking on that?
No, I was just gonna agree with you there that there are opportunities to be clever that way, that at the same time you can hose yourself, right? And maybe, yeah, you get a 1, you wait for that time when it doesn't hurt you so much. The tough ones for me are when you have, "Okay, I've got a 12 and I've got a 19. Which one am I playing?"
Yeah.
And it's always the wrong one. I always pick the wrong one. I play a 12 and, "Oh, I needed the 19," or I play a 19 and everybody else plays a 1 and a 2 or something like that. It's just oh my gosh, what a wrong decision when you really don't have a good way to know that. But you take a guess and hey, 10 minutes later, game's over anyway. It doesn't.
Oh yeah, for a simple bidding game too, the mechanic where you get half your bid back if you're the second or anybody but first, I think is a great way to make the game a little spicy without making it super complicated because that choice alone, sometimes you want to be second. You're hoping the other person bids so you're not out a ton of money, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way. But I just always think it's fascinating that the second, anybody but the first guy gets half the money back. So I find it great to be, one of the great mechanics of this game.
And maybe you win a bid that you didn't. Hey, I didn't want to win the bid. I didn't want to lose my entire bid. I wanted to be second, or it was good
Exactly.
enough to be second, and then the other players realize that, and you're losing your entire
Yeah.
bid because of it. So
Yeah, I didn't want to lose $8. I only want to lose 4, but here I
exactly.
am.
Yeah.
$8
Yeah.
gone.
It's fun when you get into one of those bidding wars, though, because then you don't want to you want to spend enough, but you don't want to get that 2 and spend 4 of your coins. So it's kind of interesting. Now we played it 2 different ways. We played it where the money was hidden, and then we also played it where the money was visible. I'm not sure how much of a difference that made, but I will say I was looking up at the corner trying to count how much I had and kind of knew where I was in line. So each of those ways have their own benefits with that. It's really how much of a game you want to make it and how strategic.
Yeah, for me, I think it makes a big difference being able to know for sure how much money someone has versus not. I mean, you can try hard it and try to keep track of how much money everybody has. If we're playing with hidden money, I don't do that. But when the money was there and we could see, it made it a little bit easier for me to strategically bid and say, okay, well, he might not want to do this, or hey, if I bid this, I know he can't beat it. Something along those lines on those last couple of rounds. For me, it was very different. And maybe again, I took it maybe to a little more thinking than maybe this game's supposed to be, but that's what the visible money allowed me to do.
No, with that hidden information, it was kind of fun because I was kind of fibbing a little bit, saying, "Oh, I'm down to my last $2," and maybe I had a little bit more. So
Never trust Pete.
yeah, never trust me. I'm always the saboteur or the what's
The hidden trader. Yeah, the
hidden trader. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I like playing it with open money just because I like to see it's a little bit more strategic. But yeah, when it's hidden money, I don't have a clue what other people have. I'm not counting it. So totally different game on that front. Pete's
Yeah,
lying to us all the
I'm
time.
too busy lamenting about the kind of properties I'm winning to worry about what other people's money are. But speaking of that, Pete, you mentioned briefly, the box. I think the art on these cards is hilarious. There's houses worth between 1 and 30 as we're bidding on initial, and the 1 is a box. It is literally a cardboard box. Looks like someone's peed on it, sitting on a street. I think the 2 is an outhouse. There's a tent. There's an igloo, and then you get higher, and it's like a cliffside mansion, and I think a space station is the highest one. I think the art's hilarious. Just again, the way that I don't necessarily worry too much about art, but I can appreciate it when the art really works. And I, for the kind of game it is, I think the funny art is spot on.
Yeah, it fits the style of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Anything about for sale that makes you want to mark it as condemned? I'll start. I've had a hard time playing this on BGA together with people I know was okay. Playing it anywhere with people you know is okay. Playing it with BGA with people I don't know, and we're not talking, I find really difficult. I think part of this is about reading people, trying to figure out what they're going to do. What do I know about Pete and how he plays games? What do I know about David? I'm playing it against 4 strangers on BGA. I'm just kind of winging it. And maybe that's why when I'm playing, I feel like I don't really know what's going on. And I'm just hoping things work out. When we're playing it together, while I didn't feel totally in control, I felt like I had more control, a better ability to make a decision because I knew something about how you guys would be playing it.
No, I'll agree with you on that. As I said right from the get-go, this is a game where you're playing the other players. It's a medium to kind of figure out, how hard you're going to push or, what can you get away with? What are they going to let you get away with? And that's what makes it fun. As far as the downside on it, I'm not sure that there's a whole lot other than it's a quick, simple game. And there's a place for all of those kinds of games. So as far as, anything bad about it, I would have to see what the original, I'm trying to think of when we played with Eric, I think he had it. I'm trying to remember what kind of chips or what kind of, is it like cardboard money? It's not cardboard money. It's almost like cards that look like money when you're bidding. Is that correct? I'm trying to think about the physical copy.
Pete, you're bringing out the iron clays to play this. Is that what you're doing?
If I'm playing, yeah, at work, I'm bringing them in and I'm gonna do it. I think that would, be a fun way to do it.
I think
But
you play with
I
real
really
money,
don't.
man. You play with
Yeah.
real money.
Oh, we could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You start with what? Only $10, so winner take all.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the only con that I have with this is that if somebody's playing with your group and they don't really want to play, I mean, meaning that they're going to throw the game or they're just being stupid, then this game probably isn't as fun. If somebody takes that not seriously, they could really ruin the game experience for everybody else that's at the table. I've seen it happen. It's not always fun, but at least the game is very quick, which is nice. But I will say that, if somebody's not trying, it could really ruin, kind of any auction game, but especially this one.
Yeah, I think that's probably true about most games, but this is the kind of game that someone could agree to play and then decide that they really don't want to. If you're sitting down to a 2-hour Euro and decide, I don't really want to play this, you got something wrong with you. But I think you're right, David. Someone could sit down and say, yeah, sure, I'll play that and decide, yeah. Anything else, guys? All right, well, we're about to sign on the dotted line here. But before we do, let's put some ratings out there on a scale of 1 to 5. With 5 being a fifth meeple recommendation to buy, 1 being a fifth meeple recommendation to just commit arson and burn the house down. Where does for sale rank for you? I will start with Pete.
All right. Well, I was hoping I'd hear a little bit on David on what the buy was going to be, but I'm going to come in at a 3. I think this is a good, solid game. I don't think it's anything super special. I think after a play or two, I think I'm done for a while. This is definitely the filler type game while you're waiting for maybe a bigger game or, you're waiting for that last person to come. I think we played 3 games within, what was it, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops. And it's a good filler. So I'm going to come in right down the line as a 3. I might go out and buy it, but I'm not going to urge anybody to run out and get it. David, why don't you fill me in on the collectability or the how much do I got to spend tonight when I
do you guys want to
online?
guess on how much you think this is going on for an Amazon?
I will take a guess. I have
Yeah,
not
go ahead.
looked.
Take a guess.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be like $30. I'm probably way off, but I
was gonna say
don't know
18.
the availability of this.
Well, Pete would be right because it's $27 on Amazon,
Wow,
which
for
I think
60
is
cards, basically.
That's
decently high.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking used, I mean, it's anywhere between 10 and $15. I think there's a bunch of editions that have been out, but the funny part is there's different editions that you can get, but the original edition, they've actually kept the same artwork over most of the editions that have come out. You could buy one just with cars or other themes, but the original one, they like the artwork so much that they've actually just kept it. So I think that said something about the game. But for me, if I'm comparing this to just other filler games, I do think it fits that category. I would probably rate it a 5. I think it's a classic. It's been in my collection for a long time. I enjoy bidding games and it's really fast. And so to me, this game, I think for what it does and how simple it is to teach, it's great. So for me, it's a 5. I'll play this almost any time just because I know it's going to be quick. I could be in and out and it's not going to kill my brain too much. Kicking it over to Chris.
Pete, what was your number?
I went with number 3.
Okay.
I give it a
Fine.
3.5 if we were allowed to, but I'm going to stick with the 3.
All right. I'm actually going to give it a 4, so I'll be in the middle. I haven't been terribly successful at this game, but again, I think part of that is because a lot of my plays have come on BGA against people I don't know. I enjoyed the heck out of playing with you guys. Just the short little games, but we had a lot of banter along the way. I enjoyed it a lot. I do think I would get bored of it eventually. There's not a 2-player variant, and so if I'm looking at games now that I'm an empty nester, unless my kids are home, it's either myself or a 2-player game, and usually it's myself. But that's the only reason why I went with a 4 or a 5. I think it's a great game, not for $30. I wouldn't pay $30 for it. I think at that price, I'd get some cards and make my own. But the reality is that every time I've played this game, I've had a good time, and when I played it with you guys, I had a blast. So I'll play it anytime you guys want to. It's a 4 for me. So a 3, a 4, and a 5 for sale. Sold. All right, well, that brings us to the end of this Mini Meeple episode here of the Fifth Meeple Board Game Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our discussion on For Sale. If you'd like to get in touch, just email us at thefifthmeeple@gmail.com or reach out to us on social media. Of course, if you like our show, we'd love it if you give us a 5-star review to help us grow. Thanks as always for listening, and until next time, remember, a good salesperson knows how to talk, but a great salesperson knows how to listen. Goodbye, everyone.
Adios, amigos.
Goodbye, everybody.